for someone caught with a South Korean soap opera, an act considered treasonous in the eyes of the North Korean government. The actual execution methods can vary, but they are often gruesome. Some reports indicate that people are shot, hanged, or even subjected to more brutal methods, such as being killed in front of dogs. This brutality serves a dual purpose. It eliminates a perceived threat and creates a spectacle that leaves a lasting impression on witnesses. Number 8. Medical experiments. In North Korean labor camps, inmates are often used as guinea pigs for various medical experiments. Some defectors recount harrowing stories of being subjected to testing for diseases. Korea has a history of developing such weapons, and there are claims that political prisoners are used to test the effects of these substances. Defectors have described being injected with unknown substances, left to suffer the consequences without any medical care. Many do not survive the ordeal, while others are left with lasting health issues. In addition to chemical testing, there are reports of forced sterilizations and other invasive procedures being carried out on prisoners. The regime targets certain groups, often those deemed undesirable, including defectors, religious practitioners, and members of minority groups. The goal is to suppress any potential dissent and control the population through fear and suffering. Number 7, ability to explore the wider world, which plays a significant role in maintaining the government's narrative and control over the people's thoughts. Telecommunications are also heavily monitored. North Koreans are not allowed to own personal mobile phones with international capabilities. Instead, they have access to basic phones that can only make calls within the country. Text messaging and other forms of communication are restricted, and any interactions are subject to scrutiny. The regime employs a network of informants, making it risky for individuals to discuss anything deemed sensitive or critical of the government. Defectors often report that even when people manage to access foreign media, it's done in secret and at great personal risk. Watching South Korean dramas or listening to foreign music can lead to silent about their experiences and discourage others from following in their footsteps. Number 6. Labor camp conditions. Labor camp conditions in North Korea are a chilling reflection of the regime's brutality and disregard for human life. These camps are designed to punish those deemed a threat to the state, including political prisoners, defectors, and even individuals accused of minor crimes. Life inside these facilities is a harrowing experience, marked by suffering and dehumanization. Imagine being crammed into a small, dingy cell with dozens of other inmates. Defectors have described conditions as overcrowded, with little room to move or breathe. The cells are often filthy, lacking a small bowl of gruel made from corn or millet. This meager diet leads to chronic malnutrition, leaving prisoners weak and emaciated. Reports indicate that some prisoners are so desperate for food that they scavenge for insects or plants, often risking punishment if caught. The combination of hard labor and starvation creates a cycle of suffering that is hard to escape. Prisoners are forced to toil long hours in harsh conditions, whether it's mining, logging, or agricultural work. They are expected to meet impossible quotas, and failure to do so can result in brutal beatings or even execution. The physical strain is immense, and many prisoners collapse from exhaustion, only to be punished rather than cared for. Number 5. Smiling penalties. In North Korea, over personal expression and emotion. On July the 8th, The atmosphere is heavy with grief, and citizens are expected to demonstrate their loyalty by mourning openly. From early in the morning, public gatherings are organized where people are required to express sorrow for the loss of their leader. Anyone caught smiling or laughing during these events risks being reported to authorities. Defectors have recounted stories of individuals who inadvertently smiled and were dragged away for re-education or faced other harsh punishments. The regime enforces these penalties to ensure that citizens appear genuinely devastated, reinforcing the cult of personality surrounding Kim Il-sung. This expectation is so ingrained that even children are taught from a young age. Any feelings of happiness or joy on July 8th creates an atmosphere of anxiety, where individuals feel they must constantly monitor their expressions. It's not just about a day of mourning, it's about survival in a regime that punishes any hint of dissent. Number 4. Western clothing ban. The ban on Western clothing has been in place for years, but it has gained more attention in recent times as the regime intensifies its crackdown on perceived foreign influences. The government views Western fashion, especially items like jeans, t-shirts, and branded apparel, as symbols of capitalism and cultural imperialism. Wearing such clothing can lead to accusations of disloyalty or attempts to undermine the state's values. Citizens are expected to dress in traditional. In contrast, North Koreans are often limited to drab, state-approved clothing styles that reflect the regime's ideology. The penalties for violating the clothing ban can be severe. People caught wearing Western attire can face public shaming, fines, or even imprisonment. Defectors have shared stories of individuals being stopped by authorities for wearing something as simple as a pair of jeans or a branded shirt. The fear of punishment means that many North Koreans conform to the dress code, even if they secretly long for the freedom to wear what they choose. Interestingly, the regime has often targeted foreign media and cultural influences, which they believe contribute to a desire for Western clothing. This is part of a larger campaign to block outside influences and maintain control. Citizens are constantly monitored, not just by government officials, but also by their neighbors. Informants are everywhere, and the fear of being reported for any sign of disloyalty keeps people in line. This culture of distrust means that even casual conversations can feel risky, as people are acutely aware that their words might be used against them. Public executions and harsh punishments serve as stark reminders of the regime's power. These events are often designed to instill terror in the population. When a dissenter is executed, the state ensures that as many people as possible witness the event. This spectacle is a grim warning. Defy the regime, and you will pay the ultimate price. The psychological impact is profound, as people realize that even minor infractions, keeping them in a state of anxiety. Education plays a significant role in fear control as well. Schools teach children to be vigilant and report any behavior deemed suspicious. From a young age, they learn that loyalty to the state is paramount, and that questioning authority can lead to dire consequences. This indoctrination ensures that the cycle of fear continues across generations. Number 2, anti-aircraft executions. When it comes to the extreme measures North Korea employs to maintain control, anti-aircraft executions are among the most shocking. Yes, you heard that right. In this isolated regime, punishment can take a gruesome turn, and using anti-aircraft guns for executions is one of the most chilling methods on their list. Take the case of General Intentional. It's designed not just to eliminate a perceived threat, but to send a loud, clear message to anyone who might think about stepping out of line. After all, who would dare to challenge a regime that would go to such extremes? These executions aren't just private affairs either. They often take place in front of large crowds, including military officers and government officials. Imagine being part of a gathering where someone is obliterated by an anti-aircraft weapon. This gruesome spectacle serves to instill fear, reminding everyone that the consequences of disloyalty can be horrifyingly public. Number 1. Kwanliso camps. The mere mention of Kwanliso camps in North Korea sends a chill down the spine. These are the regime's notorious political prison camps, where untold number of cells, where hundreds of people are crammed together, forced to sleep in shifts. The lack of sanitation and medical care leads to the rapid spread of disease, and many prisoners simply waste away, their lives snuffed out in these hellish conditions. Food is a constant source of torment. The work is backbreaking and relentless. Inmates are forced to toil for long hours, whether it's mining, logging, or constructing infrastructure. Failure to meet quotas can result in beatings, torture, or even execution. Guards wield their power with impunity, using intimidation, humiliation, and violence to maintain control. Prisoners live in constant fear, knowing that a single misstep could lead to unspeakable consequences.